Alrighty, hello Podracing fans, and welcome to another race in the group stage of the Galactic Circuit 2021. I am Nock. I'm joined here by the esteemed Game Draco, one of the longest running players of this game.
Yeah, in the first match after a 90-minute break, we have more pod racing today. So we're starting on Spice Mine Run, and both players are ready, so we can start this match.
Spice Mine Run, one of the straighter courses in the game, very easy to leverage Ben Quadranaris' long boost here. You can basically boost just about wherever you like here for about as long as you want.
And yeah, that's a trick in itself to gain a fast time, because it's so easy to just abuse the boost, and that actually makes you go slower than if you use it strategically.
Yep, and right at the end of this track, there is a section where you actually can't boost for a little while, so we'll see how well the players manage their heat. You want to be on max heat right as you enter that twisty tunnel section to make sure that you're not wasting any cooling on the way out.
Yeah, and then also if you're on a really solid near world record pace, the dozer can be in a very precarious spot if you do not know the trick to manipulate the timing of it.
Yep, we'll see how the runners handle that today.
And it looks like we're starting off. And we have Metallica. Wonder if he's actually doing that too. Looks like Metallica's off, and that's no good. Stream is sadly frozen at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like he's got some internet issues.
Oh,
So,
we found out in the chat that he lost his feed and is trying to salvage it. And Metallica came in 4th last year, so he's a really solid player of this game.
and you see familiarity with the course there, not boosting at all over that uphill section. You might think you'd want to, since going uphill faster to remove the speed penalty would be good, but that's actually fast terrain. It's a conveyor belt, so boosting as little over that as possible is going to actually get you a much faster time. There.
That's good. Took a crash. Maybe 2 crashes from the looks of it.
Yep, that'll put him a fair bit behind Metallica here. Oh, and into the market wall.
115 for Metallica.
Yeah, the last part of this course can really catch you off guard. It's pretty chill up until the end, and then there's a few kind of difficult turns that can really get you if you're not super confident and don't have everything memorized.
Yeah. Oh, Metallica nearly crashed there. I've seen players clip that edge wall and crash. There he goes. Fires it right after getting off the conveyor belt to get that spike in speed. And you just are on much faster than average speed with Ben. And there he goes. Narrowly dodged hitting the wall. And looks like
it's all sort of yeah, it's all sort of falling apart from that. That's no good over there. This is what this game does to you, though. If you're not 100% focused and don't have everything completely memorized, it can really mess you up.
$114 for Metallica.
See how he handles the dozer. He should be on a pace here where that's going to be a potential issue.
Yeah. And it looks like his audio is... Oh, he manipulated it. He knew the trick.
Yeah, so if you stay in the opening cutscene for the track, it'll actually change the timer for that dozer, which does just operate on a timer. It travels back and forth. And if you don't do that, and you're on good pace on lap 3, it'll be right in front of the tunnel where you exit. Very hard to dodge. So good on him for knowing that trick.
And it looks like his audio is like there's a 5 something like a 2 to 5 second lag. This is gonna be a really fast time by Metallica.
Yeah, pretty good heat coming through the end here. Used almost all of it. 342.94.
342.94.
And that's no good. Coming across into the tunnel section now. Should be finishing up soonish.
Crashing into the wall. .437. And so while we're waiting, we're gonna have thing refreshed. So now we're gonna go into permabands.
As always, thanks again to Speed Gaming for hosting this event for us. This is the third year in a row, correct?
Third year in a row, yep.
Awesome that we get to do this all here. All right, we're moving into the
NW Mountain Run
permaband.
from Metallica.
AMR, very tricky track in the Galactic circuit. Both requires the Andobi Prime tent shortcut and a very difficult canyon section at the end of the lap, so not surprised to see that go.
Okay, not so good. Banning the Gauntlet and Sunken City from Metallica.
Sunken City, also a very difficult, inconsistent shortcut. Fire Mountain Rally from That's No Good. It's second or third hardest track in the game, so again, not super surprising to see that.
Pod ban from That's No Good. Banning Ben Quadinaros.
And Metallica tent banning Abyss. That seems to be the story of this tournament. Ban 2 tracks you don't like in the permaban phase, and then ban Abyss every other time.
And That's No Good, taking us to Mongaza Speedway, no forces.
Mongaza Speedway, no Ben. That is probably one of That's No Good's better chances of picking up a track here. If he can put down a reasonable time and Metallica crashes, he will take the track. Just due to the nature of Mongaza being such a short track.
So, with this, you could use Bull's Roar, Elon Mac, Mahonic, Mars Glow, or Bullseye Navoir.
Metallica opting to go with Mars Guo. That's no good with Bullseye Navoir. Interesting choices from both of them. Mars and Bullseye have very similar handling stats, and actually somewhat similar average speeds, but Mars has a much longer boost that Metallica should be able to leverage for a pretty big advantage here.
And here we go. Now we're started. Mars Grow, you could literally hold the boost like almost all the way if you time it well. And That's No Good is off.
Yeah, those boosts you see Metallica holding are possible to do with Ben, but much easier with Mars. It just happens that Mars is a safer pick, and of course Ben was banned here.
.43.01 for Metallica.
Not a bad time for Mars there, a couple of sub-14 laps. .46.217 for That's No Good. Also a perfectly fine time for Bullseye.
Bang Mars Grow. Abyss from
Mars Glow Podban is interesting. I wonder if That's No Good intends to use a force to ban another pod here and strip away one of the safer picks from Metallica on a course.
Scrappers Run, no forces.
Alright, so we should be seeing both players picking Ben for Scrapper's Run. It is one of the shorter courses in the game, about a 1 minute 53, 1 minute 52 would be a pretty fast time to set here. Well, I suppose a 151 would be a very fast time. 153 might be a little slow. But once again, that's no good picking a shorter course where a couple of mistakes from Metallica might secure him the win.
And Metallica going with Ben Quaternaros.
That's no good hovering bullseye. I wonder if that's what he'll be going with. Nope, picks Ben. Alright. That makes sense. This is not one of the harder courses in the game. There are a few places where you can get hung up, but otherwise it's fairly straightforward. Alright. This should be the real start for Metallica here. And that's no good, starting just after him. Alright, Metallica opting not to take the jump off the wall there. While this is no skips, there is a wall ride you can do right out of that first tube section that lets you jump over just a little bit of the track. It doesn't skip enough for the community to consider it a true skip, so it would be allowed here, but it's quite risky.
38 first lap for Metallica.
Actually, surprisingly close pace here, considering Metallica's using Ben, who is a fair bit faster than Bullseye. .37 for Metallica. Metallica just trying to max out his heat there, since it is the last lap. You do want to be crossing the finish line with as much heat as you possibly can. Oh, and a bad crash.
Oh. Death.
It's so easy to crash there on that sharp 90-degree turn, and that's really unfortunate, because otherwise this race looked very clean from That's No Good.
152 for Metallica. Oh, That's No Good crashes again.
Yeah, Metallica once again setting a very solid time here. And that looked like, yeah, a 214.5 for That's No Good.
Okay, we already have the next bit pod and track ban. That's No Good banning Ben, and Metallica banning Abyss.
Untitled Eve Classic is picked by That's No Good. This is, of course, the famous track from the movie.
And with Ben banned, you could expect either, I suspect both are probably going to go with Bullseye, though I wouldn't be surprised to see Mars.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is one of the tracks I haven't thought about who a secondary might be. Normally you would assume Bull's Roar, but this track seems pretty unplayable for Bulls, who has a similar average speed to Ben, but much worse handling. And Ben's handling is already not great.
Yeah, I'd say Ben's handling is really stiff but stable.
Yeah, on some of the turns in Bunta Classic, he can really get stuck. If you get even a little bit offline, you're going to crash. Ben is definitely a case of he is the fastest, but he can just barely do a lot of the tracks.
Metallica going with Bullseye. It's like both of them are going with Bullseye.
Yep, very safe pick here. Bullseye has a reasonable average speed and decent boost thrust, which is what dictates that. And of course, the best handling of any pod in the game, so he can very easily navigate these nasty turns. And you'll see as we get through, but this is actually one of the tracks where there is true RNG in this game. in the Canyon Dune turn where the
Heck.
Tusken Raiders fire at you.
Yeah, actually, Hayu Doro, who was a legendary in 64 runner, he actually found out that you could, if you timed your boosts just right, you could trick the game into dodging the flames, but at high level now with Ben, it's practically impossible to do because doing it means compromising your speed now. So it went from having total RNG to being able to dodge it, and now it's back to being RNG again.
I'm not certain of this, but I would imagine that Bullseye would be able to do the RNG manipulation on every lap without losing much speed, just due to the nature of his boost being much shorter, but recharging much faster than Ben's.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting the... Yeah, I think we're getting the true start from Metallica, and that's no good. Is starting. Both of them using an AI because it will take out a critical stalactite, and ooh, failed to get the boost on the shortcut. That's gonna hurt. That's no good terribly.
Yeah, losing a lot of time there. If you don't manage to start your boost before you get on there, you can't charge it while you're going uphill, both because it's uphill and it's off-road terrain, which slows you down too much to be able to use that.
And then you got the double whammy being forced onto the slower lower path.
That's no good, though. Does seem to know, all of the paths for the game. Ooh. Yeah, trying to repair that red engine, which was pulling him to the right, and he just slams right into that pillar.
And Metallica nearly avoids a crash into the stalactite.
And coming through the Canyon Dune turn there is Metallica, just finishes it. Those fires that you see were the RNG we're talking about, where the Tusken Raiders shoot at you. Those fires not only light your engines on fire, they also cause you to lose a ton of traction and give you a little bit of a thrust in a random direction, so it can be very, very difficult to navigate.
Ooh, Metallica hit a rock at full speed, and now the heavy damage.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to mix in some repair there.
Ah! Looks like the Jawas did not... And he got respawned underneath the Sandcrawler, and there goes Metallica crashing.
Yeah, that chicane right there is really, really tight, even for Bullseye. The track looks quite wide, so it can kind of sneak up on you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Not so good makes it this time, but he was on very high heat. Ooh, crashes into the corner.
Same mistake as Metallica. Just trying to take that a little too fast.
Very clean boost now that Cibola took out the stalactite and crashes.
It's certainly a very bold pick from That's No Good. One of the 3 hardest tracks in the game for sure is Bunta Classic. There is just no part of this track that doesn't want to make you crash.
Yeah.
And during a casual playthrough, there are so many branching paths you could take, you could end up losing quite a lot of time, even racing a clean race, just because you took the wrong path at one of the forks.
Ooh. Metallica barely got that boost.
I am very surprised he managed that with the crashing into that rock.
I actually had a few times where I would deliberately crash into that rock, then gun the boost.
Fair to make future laps easier. That makes sense.
Yes. Ooh, second the Jawas. We've got Scrap. He crashed near the Sandcrawler.
Oh, and Metallica clipping that pillar. Crashing just here before the hit.
That's to take the...
Yeah, unfortunately has to not do the off-road jump there. You saw him jump over that section of off-road terrain to cut the corner, but as we mentioned before, on off-road you can't charge your boost, and it's just not fast enough if you're not boosting over it.
Ooh, and that's no good. Does not get it again. Ouch.
Yeah, making that shortcut jump at the start of the lap can be quite difficult. If you're not going fast enough, you will just fall down, possibly even take a crash.
Wow, I'm amazed Metallica survived that. And that.
Getting to red engine twice there, but Bullseye's repair is fast enough to get him back into the game. He'll limp across the finish line with two heavily damaged engines, though. .522.36 for Metallica. A couple deaths for him here, which is uncharacteristic based on his previous races, but I mean, it's the booty of Classic. This track eats pod racers for breakfast. Oh, and crashes into the rock pillar in the Canyon Dune turn, trying to take that tighter line. Or that's no good.
522.358 for Metallica.
That's no good, just narrowly avoiding that crack in the canyon wall there. Should be home free now.
Looks like 631.898 for not so good. Once again, Mars Band and Abyss Band.
And we're going to Death Row's Revenge, no horses. Death Row's Revenge, definitely the most chill track of the Galactic circuit, which is the same circuit the Boonty Eve Classic is on. I like to think that the designers put it in there as a nice breather after going through Grabvine Gateway and Sebulba's Legacy and everything, to give you a bit of a breather before the brutal tracks right at the end.
Well, so this is match point for Metallica.
In chat, we've got here's Metallica with Enter Sand People. I like that. We'll have to accost him to make that cover.
And that's a good set. I'm ready, but at what cost?
And Metallica is getting ready as well. Really, Mikey, do you think that would probably increase the excitement of the game if we modded it so that every track has sand people firing at you? It'd certainly make ILs a bit more exciting, everything being RNG.
Not to mention you could get more scrap there.
Ooh, yes. If you got extra parts in the junkyard every time you crashed during tournament mode, that would be something.
Yeah.
Should be beginning what could be the final race here. Metallica on match point. Both players electing to use Ben. Glad to see that That's No Good is comfortable with Ben on this track.
And Metallica's off. And crashes right away into the pillar.
Interesting to see Metallica taking the top line through that tunnel there. Obviously, on the infamous Abyss, you have to stay on the top line. It is a terrible time loss if you don't. But on here, you'll actually usually see runners dropping down to the lower level to make use of some extra fast terrain there It is a little risky. You can crash on the sidewall, so Metallica playing it safe there.
Ooh, that was a dicey lap. He almost clipped into the crane and the top of the beam too.
Oh, that's no good crashing in a very awkward spot. That's going to force a second crash. That's very unfortunate for him. The respawn point there is just not far enough back that you can actually get the speed when you get over that jump.
"42.
Let's hope that's no good. Makes it over the jump this time around. And he does. No crash this time and makes the boost. And there goes Metallica with the out-of-bounds finish. The game does still count.
493.
Yeah, very solid time there. And yeah, what you saw Metallica doing, it's almost more for show than anything else. It is slightly faster, but mildly risky, as you do lose about 3 seconds if you fail it. But the game does count you as moving over the finish line, even if you do it underneath the track.
Oh man, speed gaming rating with a party of 95, even though this is the end of the match. Ouch. Whoa,
Ooh.
hit a texture kill spot.
Yeah, just one of the idiosyncrasies of this game. Sometimes you can die to literally nothing.
And... okay.
3 minutes, 783 thousandths for... That's no good. That's some unfortunate deaths there, especially in that first lap where he crashed right next to the edge and got forced to take another crash.
Okay, looks like we have that's the good during, or looks like we're gonna have some interviews. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello? Oof, that was a pretty interesting match.
Yeah, all I can say is I've realised this is completely different from the Game Boy Color port, which is what I've been practicing the entire time.
Oh, that would explain some things. For those who don't know, there was a Game Boy version of this game, which is completely different. It is not at all the same game.
I think it's pretty obvious by the fact that it's a Game Boy Color port of a game that's in 3D.
Yes.
Attempts on 3D on the Game Boy Color is an interesting topic that's for a different, probably, conversation altogether.
Well, congratulations to Metallica on the win.
Thank you, thank you. I do think the MGS pick was a pretty good idea, because, you know, if I had died a single time, then I would have lost for sure. I actually got pretty nervous there, so that was a good one.
I enjoy MGS as it is. It's a very basic track. That's kind of what I see it as, at least. All the other tracks seem... a lot of the tracks are very complicated, and they're good for that, but MGS is just a simple, basic track, and I very much enjoy putting the AI on slow and just racing around the track and screaming at all the vehicles that you whack into. It's great.
It's short but sweet.
Yeah. I picked some tracks I don't even think I've raced on for ages, like Death Rush Revenge. I swear I haven't played that track since last year, so...
Oh, I see. You were saying in chat like, I don't even know anymore. Things like that. I guess you're at random at that point.
I don't know. I think I picked like Boonton Classic because I know that's the one I find difficult with. Scrapper's Run I enjoy as just as a track. I think I played Scrapper's Run a lot, and then I sort of got used to sharp turns because of it in some way, but not all of the corners, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't crash into many things. Yeah, it was a fun track selection. Fun amount. I assume a lot of crashing to report.
Let's see.
Same here.
Yep, very fun match to watch. It can be very difficult with so many tracks in the game to pick which ones you want, right? There's so much to be good at.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
But especially the Mongazo Speedway time and Scrapper's Revenge. Scrapper's Run, not Scrapper's Revenge. You look pretty solid on That's No Good, so.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I've actually done most of this track without crashing. I'm so surprised. I might actually finally get an entire. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, we just about caught that. The nasty warning turn right after the tunnel, eating you as it has eaten so many other pods.
I jinxed myself, and I'm never gonna live that down. I was thinking it. I was about to say it. I was like, "Woohoo! I've done it! I've done." It reminds me of the F1 race where someone says, "And Nigel Mansell's on the last lap. He's about to win. He's about to come home with the championship, and his tire blows." Commentator jinxed it.
That's ridiculous.
That's what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's this game, right? This is truly one of the most difficult racing games ever produced.
It is. I think that's what makes it really replayable, though. Apart from, I think the only gripe with this game is the AI not being challenging enough. The rest of the game is really solid. It's amazing for a Windows 95 game. Well, most were good, but the idea that a game like this is really replayable and has multiple different outcomes on each track. Still a reason why it's probably got a deep community behind it as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a testament that it's still being played, over 20 years later. Alright, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. Congratulations again to Metallica, and thank you again to Speed Gaming for letting us host this event. Great to have a nice place to stream and to compile all of the runs, so big props to them for running all this with us.
Yeah, it's been fun.
May the force be with you.
Yeah,
And good luck on your further matches.